Hey, welcome to day 18 of the BP Challenge, our health and lifestyle challenge. It's a free 90-day challenge to help you to create something that you want in your life, to get the momentum, to get a handle on, to create lifestyle changes and the habits and the systems and the processes and the things that you need to make getting what you want automatic. Today we are talking about how do you decide? How do you personally make a decision when you're faced with a bunch of different information, conflicting information sometimes, because oftentimes experts have different ways of going about things, and neither's right or wrong, they're just different. And that's what makes the world really interesting, right? When we realize that we have different options, different possibilities, and the possibilities are almost endless if we're open-minded enough to see them. So how do you go about deciding? Well, how do we make decisions based on anything? And I'm going to teach you something that sounds so simplistic and so ridiculous that you're going to be laughing, and then I'm going to challenge you to try it. And that is the old, let me put my coffee down, plus or minus strategy. My dad taught me this when I was a very little girl, and my sisters as well, because he found that a family full of girls wasn't necessarily excellent at getting ready to do things. It was like herding, what did he say? It was like herding, I don't remember. He used to have an expression that he would tease us. It was like herding something, and it wasn't cattle or animals or something that's easily herdable. It was something like herding noodles or something, but something really, really hard to round up. Of course, he didn't have a strainer for us girls. But he taught us this technique for making decisions, making choices among alternatives, or to decide about something, to make a decision to do something or to not do something. Because the better you are, the faster you are at making decisions, the easier it is for you to move and test and then move on with your life and find out if something's working for you or not. So he taught us the little plus or minus strategy. And what he would do is he would tell us to get a piece of paper. In this case, I got a note card. On one side I wrote plus, on the other side I wrote minus. And sometimes I would write the problem or the decision I was trying to make. Maybe it was, do I want to go to prom? I don't know where that one came from. And then yes, all the reasons I want to go to prom. No, all the reasons I don't want to go to prom. Do I want to lower my blood pressure? All the reasons I want to lower my blood pressure. All the reasons I don't want to lower my blood pressure. Do I want to get more customers coming into my business? And guess what? Even though things might sound like, oh my God, that's a wonderful thing. Do I want to make more profits in my business? You might think that there's positives, all positives to that. But if you do this exercise, what you're going to find is any choice, any decision has both positives and negatives. If you find yourself only listing positives and not any negatives, then you have to stop, take a deep breath, and say, okay, am I being realistic? Am I being true to what I know will happen in this situation? If I make this choice, what are all the positives to that? But then what are also all the negatives to that? Think about life choices that we've made in our life. If I go to this college, the positive is yeah. The negatives are, well, I'm saying no to all the other colleges. If I marry this person, I'm saying no to all the other people that I could have married. So that's like that might be a negative to you, right? Or it might be a positive depending on your personal dating history and experience in the relationship world. So this, as simplistic as it is, I've used this to make like major life decisions. I use this little strategy to decide if I should marry my ex-husband or not. Now, I obviously didn't do a great job on it because he's my ex-husband. But at the time, it was the right choice and the right decision for me because there were more positives than negatives. He did find out about that and get really mad, by the way. I don't know why I didn't just rip it up and throw it away, but somehow it was in my stuff when we were moving, and he stumbled upon it and was like, you know, that's male ego, I think. But I've used this for business decisions. I've used it for, should I buy this business or not? I've used it for big things. I've used it for small. And in this situation, I'm going to use it to decide what are the areas I'm going to focus on over the rest of this 90-day challenge. So I'll tell you what I came up with because I already did it. I came up with some and I said, is this what I want to do or is it not? And that I used the plus and minus. And then I also do a little strategy that I call future pacing. I ask myself, if I do this, what do I think my life will be like in 5 years or in a year? If I do this, what do I see happening? What do I see as the result of that, or the possible upside, but also the possible consequences? Again, every choice we make has yin and yang. It's got positives and negatives that can happen from that choice and consequences. Every choice, every decision, every act we make has consequences, right? It's all, we're putting energy out into the world and it's all going to cause a ripple effect. So positive and negatives. And what I came up with, I got my little handy dandy notebook, and of course I've got my journal because I'm doing this right along with you. If you're not writing stuff down, guys, why not? Are you not really committed to what it is that you said you want over this 90-day period? If you're not writing stuff down, I would have to ask myself, if I were you, am I really committed to doing this? Because it doesn't take that long to write stuff down. I got 2 notebooks going for it, and you only need to really have 1. So today I looked at, okay, what are the areas, and what I'd like you to do is you can do this way like I did, or you can go back and you can say, okay, I found these 3 pieces of conflicting information yesterday. How am I gonna decide which is right, which I'm gonna go with, which makes sense to me, or which makes more sense to me? So I picked, what am I gonna do for the rest of the duration of the challenge? What are the areas that I'm gonna focus on? And I picked mindset, movement, nutrition, supplements, the basics like water, sleep, air, and then we'll get into relationships, systems, and continuous improvement. That's what I decided as part of my, how do I know what to choose? How do I know what's most important? And part of how I figured out what was most important to me was, as I'm going through different sources, I kept seeing the same things over and over again. Now, there might be slightly different opinions on each of those areas, like what movements and what things you should do and how much exercise you should get. But overall, that was a big area. That was one of the big themes that keeps coming up for me with respect to my challenge. So, say you want to get more customers in your business, or you want to be a better influencer, probably one of the things that you're finding tons of information about is being on social media, being present, and you're going to see things like consistency, making videos, being there, engaging with your audience. You're going to start to see like 5 themes. Let's pick 5 themes that come up, and those are going to be the things that we'll really dive into through the rest of the challenge. So, for example, over the next 10 days, and we're not getting to this yet, but I'm going to pick movement as my most important thing. Get off my butt and move. Get moving, get exercising, get my body moving. And that will help not only my blood pressure, but it'll also help other areas of my health and other areas of my life. It will help my arthritis. It will help me with my pain. It will help me with my mental focus. It will help me with my clarity. It will help me with my energy. And all of those things are just extra added benefits to getting my blood pressure down. And I know that one of the biggest things that I'm seeing across different sources is that movement and physical activity is super duper important to getting your blood pressure down. So today's assignment is to look at and decide, how am I going to decide? Have just at least one go-to decision-making strategy that you can call upon no matter what. And that's why I like plus and minus, because no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I am, no matter what the choice is, no matter what the decision is, I can stop and I can do it in my head. It's better if I write it down because I don't miss things and I don't go in circles with my thinking. But I can do that anywhere, anytime, any place, on anything. And that's why I like that. And it's super duper simple and easy, right? Anyone can do it. My 4-year-old granddaughter can do it. I've been teaching her, hey, she wants a treat or something. And so, well, what are the positives to having this particular treat? What are the negatives to having this particular treat? And she'll actually then make a choice among her alternatives and pick the choice that's right for her right now. A lot of times she makes a healthy choice, which makes me so happy. It means that we're teaching her that she should do what's best for her, not always, the sweet treat would always be yummy, but is that really good for you in the long term? No. So, well, maybe you, but not for me. So today, come up with what is going to be your go-to decision-making process or tool. Is it going to be plus or minus? Is it going to be problem-solving decision-making? Is it going to be a more complicated tool? Depending on what kind of things you're doing, what kind of problems you're solving for yourself, you might need a computer sophisticated, more dynamic tool. I guarantee there's apps for solving problems and coming up with ways to make decisions on our phones. I didn't look them up because I go for plus and minus. I say keep it old school, keep it simple. But if you want to, find an app that'll help you make a decision. You can go back to the important, urgent, necessary. You can use that to be your method of making a decision. And for more complicated things and for multiple options, I use that. I actually do the IUN because it's so much more detailed. For big business problems, I actually create spreadsheets on Excel or on, I guess it's Google Sheets now, but it used to be Excel. Dating myself. I think, what was it before that? 1, 2, 3? I don't remember, Lotus or something before then. But That's your assignment today. Find your one go-to way to decide. Make quick decisions and make quick choices, because it's all about the quicker we can make these decisions and choices and start testing things on ourselves, the faster we'll know what works for us, the faster we'll get results. And it's all about getting the results we want in as little time as possible, because we all want immediate gratification. We all want immediate results, right? So that's it. That's your assignment for today. How are you going to decide? Decide how you are going to decide. How's that for one? Decide how you're going to decide and make decisions and choices among alternatives. And if you want to, go back and test this on the 3 pieces of conflicting data or conflicting information that you got from sources or experts yesterday. And otherwise, go ahead and do like I did. Move forward and say, okay, how am I going to use this moving forward to decide based on the research and the information I've got so far? Because we're 18 days in. We've got a lot of information. Just in little bits a day, we've pulled out and gotten a lot of information about what we need to do to move forward to get our goal. I know a lot more than I did 18 days ago about blood pressure. I just knew I'd go in, I'd put a cuff on, the doctor would tell me what my blood pressure was, and then they would say if it's either high or low. I now know what the ranges should be, what my goal is, where I want to go, why I want to lower it, and a whole lot more ways of lowering it. And whether it's 10 steps or 15 steps or 15 things or 10 things, it doesn't matter. I'm probably going to do all of them. Maybe not over the next 90 days. Over the next 90 days, I'm going to focus on 5 to maybe 10, because I can probably do a couple a week. But the point is, if I want to reach my goal, I need to break it down into bite-sized pieces to get there. And that's what we're doing with this. So, how are you going to decide? If you want, share in the comments below. I would love to know about different decision-making processes that you use, because when we share information, when we share what we know with other people, it benefits us by being able to explain it. It also benefits other people, because now they have another tool in their toolbox for creating the life that they want. Have an absolutely amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.